Hi, it's Maya here. And remember how in my last book haul I had only bought 3 books and 2 graphic novels during the whole first half of the year? Well, now I bought 5 graphic novels and 3 books in the last month. The first 3 graphic novels I bought I ordered from Book Depository, and the first was Pneumonia by Noel Stevenson. I read this back when it was a webcomic and it came out in physical format this year. I'd been wanting to buy it for a while now, and when it was 10% off during the Booktubeathon, I went ahead and bought the hardcover. The book has the same cover as the dust cover. This is fun but also quite surprisingly dark graphic novel about Pneumonia, who is a shapeshifter and a sidekick to Lord Blackheart, and together they fight against the institution of law enforcement and heroics, including Sir Goldenloin here. I love their names. In addition to great characters, it's also set in a great world, which is a mix between fantasy and science fiction, so there are things like knights and dragons, but also laser guns and computers. I just reread this and it's even better the second time around, and I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. Next thing I ordered from the Book Depository was the trade of Young Avengers Volume 1 Style Over Substance by Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey. This is by the same creative team as The Wicked and the Divine. This is a 2013 Young Avengers arc. I've already read these. These comprise of 3 volumes and I love them and I wanted to own them. The Young Avengers have been going on for a while in the Marvel universe, but this is a completely new team with a couple of old Young Avengers members, those being Wiccan and the Hulkling. But the other teammates are new to the theme in this volume. They are Miss America Chavez, Novar, Kate Hawkeye Bishop and Kid Loki. The art style is as gorgeous as Jamie McKelvey's and Matthew Wilson's work usually is. McKelvey's lines and Wilson's colors just work so well together. And the story is amazing. I hadn't read any of the Young Avengers before I started this one, but when I read the first 2 volumes, I decided I wanted to read all of them. So I read all of the old Young Avengers comics, and then I went ahead and read The Journey into Mystery by Kieran Gillen, which is the story of Kid Loki, and it was awesome. And this is so much fun, and I very much recommend this Young Avengers arc. I also picked up The Wicked and the Divine Volume 2 by Kieran Gillen and Jim McKelvey, and so the same creative team as the last one. I haven't read this one yet, but I quite enjoyed the first one, and look, this is huge. Just compare it to the Young Avengers. So there's a lot of stuff in this and I can't wait to get to it. I hope I'll love it more than I did the first volume, which I gave 4 stars, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Young Avengers, and I really hope this really sucks me in. So those were all the books from Book Depository. I also bought a couple of trades from my local comic shop, the first being Batgirl Volume 1, Batgirl of Burnside by Cameron Stewart and Brendan Fletcher with art by Bab Starr. I've already reviewed this in my Booktubeathon wrap-up, so you can go there and see the whole review, or I can just tell you that the story was okay, but the art was fantastic. And I think I'll keep buying the trades as they come out just because of the artwork. I just really enjoy it. If you're interested in Batgirl, this is sort of a reboot or a new arc for her, so you don't have to have read any of the earlier ones if you want to pick this one up. And the final thing I bought from my local comic shop is Gotham Academy Volume 1 by Becky Cloonan, Brendan Fletcher with art by Carl Kerschel. I really love this. Gotham Academy is a school in Gotham for about high school age kids, I think. And this was a lot of fun. I'm a sucker for those high school stories with supernatural bits thrown in. It was a great adventure with great coloring. It almost looks like stills from a cartoon show or something. I don't know if it translates that well on video, but it's just gorgeous. I picked this up because I've been following Becky Cloonan ever since the 90s or something. She's a great artist, but she does the writing in this one. She doesn't do any of the art. Again, you don't have to have prior knowledge of the DC universe to read this. Of course, some knowledge helps. For example, Batman makes a few cameos. But mainly this is a story about new characters. At least in this volume, the main character was Olive Silverlock, who had something mysterious and traumatic happen to her during the summer. And then there's her best friend, Maps Misoguchi. I gave this 5 stars on Goodreads. So those were all the graphic novels and trades that I bought, and let's move on to the books. These are all science fiction. In the bookstore that I most frequently attend in my city, they have this stamp card where when you have bought 7 paperbacks, you get the 8th one free. And I had a full stamp card that would have expired this month, so I really had to pick something up. And I went there and took a look around and ended up picking up The Martian by Andy Weir, which is a story about an astronaut who gets stranded on Mars. This is nominated for the BookTube SFF Awards, and there's a read-along going on right now in the Goodreads group. I had been in the bookstore in the past couple of months looking for something that I would have liked to pick with my free stamp card. I had tried to find the first book in the Paradox series by Rachel Bach. The book is called Fortune Spawn. I think I saw it first on Elena Reed's channel, and it sounded like a fun science fiction adventure. So I had gone to the bookstore on multiple occasions trying to get the first book, but they only always had the second or the third book around. But the last time I visited, when I picked up The Martian, they still didn't have the first one, but they had thrown volume 2 and 3 to the sales bin. It was the last days of the book sale over there, and everything that was in the sales bin was 80% off. And they had thrown in Honor's Knight, which is book 2, and Heaven's Queen, book 3. And these were only €2 a piece, so of course I picked them up, and now I only have to buy the first book. None of the libraries in my area had this series, so I decided to buy it. So because this one was free, these 3 books only cost me €4, which is pretty much $4. I also picked up one book from the library just today. It is Armada by Ernest Cline, and I've heard mostly negative reviews of this book, so I don't have high hopes for it. But from what I know of it, it sounds a lot like the Last Starfighter movie, which I really loved as a kid, but I'm not sure if it would be any good if I saw it now. But we'll see what I think about this one. So those were the 3 books and 5 graphic novels that I bought this month. If you've read Armada, please tell me in the comments what you thought of it, because like I said, I've mostly heard negative reviews of it. Out of the graphic novels I just showed you that I've read, I would really recommend Pneumonia by Noel Stevenson, Young Avengers by Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey, and Gotham Academy by Becky Cloonan and Brendan Fletcher. So please pick them up if they sounded at all interesting to you, and I'll see you all later.